So in the next couple of videos, I just want to show you how to construct a feature from scratch in Earth Engine. Um, a feature is geometry with attributes. So this video is going to show you how to construct geometry from scratch. Um, Typically, we're going to be either working with data that's on the cloud someplace that we're going to grab this way, or we're going to bring data in from QGIS, which we would go through as the like as that hidden thing here where we import the asset and then load it this way. So you're not going to be doing a lot of digitizing in Earth Engine, but I want you to show that it's possible, and we will do this at times in the course. Make simple geometries to define points of interest. So you should be aware of how this works. So I'm going to create a geometry, and what I'm going to do is kind of give myself a lot of map here, and then I'm going to go over to these tools, and that's going to draw a rectangle, that's going to draw a polygon, that's going to draw a line, that's going to draw a point. I'd like to draw a polygon, so I'm going to draw a shape. And then I'm going to go through this routine again, where it's going to create this geometry, and it's going to say polygon drawing, and I'm just going to, and I should change from MJ to this crosshair, and I'm just going to start drawing in the rough outline of this feature. If you mess up and you want relief, so let's just say double click, it's a mess. You're not happy with this. You can go click on the gear and delete it and say okay, and then go back and start over. It's going to change the color, no big deal. But just without too much pain, just kind of try to draw around this outline and again, another personality test, and I probably am doing this with more detail than is necessary, but just cruise along. It's hard if I can see it, I try to do as best I can, and but of course this is a little bit silly because this is going to depend on the season, um, in terms of the water level. It's going to depend on if it's a dry year or a wet year. It's going to depend on if it's, there's so many temporal issues for drawing these objects. It's funny that we think of these as spatial objects when they're very much spatial temporal objects. But the key idea is that when you get to the end, you should change to that John Travolta kind of finger point, right? And if I click on that, it's going to close this polygon. So I'm going to have the shape, and the shape is going to be stored up here. It's going to be called the import, and there's going to be this variable that's defined automatically called geometry, and it's going to have 61 vertices, and there's the list of all the vertices, and again the first and the last are probably the same because there's closure. Blah, 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 blah. And anyway, but that's the idea. And if I hit run, it should now, because the snippet I gave you asked to print, it's going to print the pond geometry um, here. And what's kind of nice about this, when you import, is if I change this to kind of like pond geometry, um, and spelled it as best I could, I think it updates it here. So that's kind of handy. I'm just going to change that back for now to just regular old geometry because um, it's the only one we're going to make set for. So then it changes it back to geometry. So the imports are a little, that's a nice feature of the imports, is that they help you keep track of your names. But right now I'm just going to say we've got this geometry, it's the pond geometry, there it is. If I hit run, everything's good, and I'm going to hit save and go to the next video.